For relaxing times, make it Suntory time.
The room is silent, almost too silent. There's a strange kind of magic in moments we usually overlook. The soft scrape of metal, a whisper barely heard, the rhythmic hum of something ordinary. Somehow these tiny sounds don't just reach your ears, they crawl under your skin. They slow your thoughts, pull you in, and before you realize it, you're completely absorbed. But here's the twist. Some of the most powerful of these moments aren't from ASMR videos at all. They're hidden inside movies, scenes you've probably watched without even noticing what they were doing to you. And once you start paying attention, you can't unhear them. Because what feels calming to some can feel deeply unsettling to others. Let's step into that world, where sound alone controls how you feel. Number 20, pouring beer, Django Unchained. There's something oddly hypnotic about precision, and this scene captures it perfectly. As King Schultz casually pours a drink, the world around him feels like it slows down. The creak of the handle, the smooth flow of liquid filling the glass, the gentle foam rising to the top, it's all so deliberate. You can almost hear every tiny movement as if it's happening right next to you. What makes this moment stand out isn't just the sound, it's the contrast. In a film filled with tension and violence, this calm, controlled sequence feels almost out of place, in the best way possible. The repetition of each action, the pull, the pour, the scrape, creates a rhythm that quietly pulls you in. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but somehow it becomes unforgettable. A small pause in chaos, where sound alone takes control. Number 19, whispers and white noise, poltergeist. Sometimes the softest sounds are the most powerful. In this scene, it's not what you see, it's what you hear. The low hum of TV static fills the room, creating a constant, almost comforting background noise. It's the kind of sound that feels empty, yet strangely full at the same time. Layered on top of that are whispers, quiet, careful, almost fragile. Voices that feel like they're meant only for you. And that's where the magic happens. Because whispers don't just communicate, they invite you closer. But here's what makes it unsettling: the setting. This is a horror film. That same calming white noise suddenly feels eerie. Those soft voices, they don't feel safe anymore. It's a perfect example of how sound can blur the line between comfort and fear. Relaxing, but with something lurking just beneath the surface. Number 18, making marmalade, Paddington 2. This scene feels like a warm blanket, but in sound form. Paddington's gentle voice guides the moment, calm and steady, as he walks through the process of making marmalade. And it's not just what he says, it's how everything sounds. The soft squish of oranges being squeezed, the quiet pour of sugar, the subtle bubbling of a pot coming to life. Every sound blends together like a soothing melody. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is sharp. It all flows. There's a comforting rhythm to it, like someone patiently showing you something they love. And that's what makes it special. It's not just ASMR, it's emotional. Even in a prison setting surrounded by rough characters, this moment transforms everything. Number 17, Waco, Texas, the Tree of Life. This isn't just a scene, it's an experience. Nature takes center stage here, and every sound feels alive. The distant chirping of birds, the soft rustle of leaves, the faint hum of the world moving quietly around you. They don't demand attention, they simply exist alongside the visuals, blending into the atmosphere. There's no urgency, no pressure, just a slow, steady flow of sound and emotion. It feels personal, like memories you didn't even realize you had. And that's the beauty of it. This scene doesn't try to impress, it invites you to feel, to pause, to breathe. It's ASMR in its purest form, quiet, natural, and deeply human. Number 16, park bench conversation, Good Will Hunting. Not all ASMR comes from objects or actions. Sometimes it comes from people. And this scene proves it. Sitting on a quiet park bench, the conversation unfolds slowly, naturally, without any rush. Robin Williams' voice is the centerpiece here, calm, grounded, and full of emotion. Every word feels measured, like it carries weight, but never force. It's the kind of voice that makes you stop and listen, not because you have to, but because you want to. In the background, life continues softly. The distant creak of a swing, faint city noise, birds chirping, it all adds layers without ever overpowering the moment. And together, it creates something rare. A scene that feels real, intimate, almost like you're sitting right there with them. No dramatic music, no distractions, just a voice and the quiet world around it. Number 15, Cat Bus, My Neighbor Totoro. It starts with rain, soft at first, then steady. Each drop tapping against the umbrella, the ground, the leaves, creating a rhythm that feels almost alive. And in the middle of it all, two children wait quietly at a bus stop, wrapped in that gentle soundscape. Then, something shifts. A presence enters, not loudly, not dramatically, but with weight. Totoro. His footsteps are slow, heavy, yet oddly comforting. You can hear the subtle crunch beneath him, the slight rustle as he adjusts, even the quiet little grunts that feel more like breaths than sounds. It's not dialogue, it's texture. And then comes one of the most satisfying moments, the umbrella. That sudden tap as a raindrop hits it harder than the rest. Totoro's reaction, simple, curious, repeats with each drop, turning a basic sound into something playful, almost addictive. But just when you've settled into this calm rhythm, another sound cuts through. Fast, rhythmic, unfamiliar. The cat bus arrives. Its many legs hitting the ground in perfect sync, like a living drumbeat, echo through the night. There's a strange balance here. The chaos of its movement, yet a pattern so precise it feels soothing. Wind rushes, the rain shifts, and for a brief moment, the world feels surreal. It's not just a scene, it's an atmosphere you can hear. Number 14, the sunken place, Get Out. At first it feels harmless. A quiet room, a calm conversation, a cup of tea gently stirred. But then, you hear it. That soft, metallic cling, cling, cling of a spoon scraping against porcelain. Slow, consistent, almost hypnotic. It's not loud, but it doesn't need to be. Because the repetition is what gets you. Each scrape lands exactly where the last one did, creating a rhythm your mind can't ignore. And as that sound continues, the voice guiding the moment is soft, controlled, almost comforting. There's no urgency, no aggression, just a steady flow of words that seem to wrap around you. But that's where the discomfort creeps in. Because the calmer it sounds, the less control you feel. The spoon keeps moving, same motion, same sound, over and over. And then suddenly, you're not just listening anymore, you're sinking. The background disappears into silence, replaced by a muted emptiness. The sound design shifts completely, like being underwater, distant, hollow, powerless. This is where ASMR turns into something darker, because instead of relaxing you, the same elements that usually calm the mind, repetition, soft sounds, gentle voices. Number 13, the bar, lost in translation. The city outside is alive, bright lights, endless motion, noise that never seems to stop. But inside, everything slows down. The bar feels like a completely different world. Dim lighting, soft shadows, and most importantly, sound that never demands attention, yet never disappears. It starts subtly, a glass being set down, ice shifting with a faint crack, the distant murmur of conversations blending into one continuous hum. None of it stands out individually, but together, it creates a kind of sonic blanket. And right in the middle of it are two people, talking quietly. Their voices aren't dramatic or intense. They're casual, slightly uncertain, almost like they're thinking out loud. And that's what makes it feel real. There's space between their words, pauses that aren't awkward, they're natural. In the background, music plays, but it's distant, softened, like it's coming from another room. You're aware of it, but it never pulls you away from the moment. What makes this scene so powerful is how balanced everything feels. No sound is too sharp, nothing interrupts. It all flows together effortlessly. And as the conversation continues, you realize something. It's not just relaxing, it's intimate. 12. Strudel scene, Inglourious Bastards. This scene plays a dangerous game, and it does it through sound. At first glance, it feels calm, a quiet restaurant, polite conversation, the soft clink of cutlery against plates. But underneath that calm, there's tension you can almost taste. And then the food arrives, the strudel. The sound of cream being placed on top is slow and deliberate, thick, smooth, almost satisfying. Then comes the fork. That first gentle press into the pastry, followed by a crisp, delicate crunch. It's sharp enough to catch your attention, but not loud enough to break the atmosphere. Every bite is controlled, measured. You hear the subtle scrape of utensils, the faint chew, the quiet pauses in between. It's deeply sensory, almost soothing. But here's the twist. You're not relaxed, because the conversation layered over these sounds carries weight. Every word feels calculated. Every pause feels intentional. The pleasant dining sounds start to feel almost manipulative. It's ASMR with tension wrapped around it. Your senses are caught in two directions: comfort from the sound, discomfort from the context. And that contrast keeps you locked in. You're listening closely, not just because it sounds good, but because something feels off. And that's exactly what makes it so effective. Number 11, HAL's Deactivation, 2001, A Space Odyssey. There's a certain kind of silence that only exists in space, and this scene captures it perfectly. It's not complete silence, it's controlled, mechanical, alive in its own way. As Dave moves through the spacecraft, you hear it immediately, the steady hum of machinery. Low, constant, almost like a heartbeat. Paired with it are his breaths, slow, heavy, echoing inside his suit. Each inhale, each exhale, amplified just enough to make you aware of every second passing. There's no rush. Every movement feels deliberate. And then there's the voice. Hal, calm, emotionless, yet somehow vulnerable. The tone never changes. It stays smooth, steady, almost soothing. But as the scene progresses, something subtle shifts. The words begin to carry hesitation. Not fear in the traditional sense, but something close to it. All the while, the background remains consistent. The hum, the breathing, the faint clicks of systems being shut down one by one. It becomes rhythmic, predictable, almost hypnotic. And then comes the final moment, the voice slowing down, softening, fading. What started as a calm, controlled environment turns into something unexpectedly emotional. Because in the end, it's not just about sound. Number 10, painting, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It doesn't begin with movement, it begins with stillness. The kind of stillness where even the smallest sound feels amplified. A brush touches canvas, and suddenly that silence has texture. The soft drag of bristles across the surface is almost whisper-like. It's not harsh or scratchy, it's smooth, controlled, deliberate. Each stroke feels intentional, like it carries emotion rather than just paint. You can almost hear the pressure changing, lighter, heavier, as if the artist is thinking through every motion. Behind it, a fire crackles. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to exist. That gentle crack, pop, flicker adds warmth to the entire scene. And then there's the rain, faint, distant, tapping against the window in an irregular rhythm that somehow complements the brushstrokes perfectly. Nothing competes. Everything coexists. And that's what makes this moment so absorbing. There's no dialogue forcing your attention, no music guiding your emotions, just pure, raw sound design doing all the work. You start noticing things you normally wouldn't, the slight shift of fabric as the artist moves, the quiet intake of breath, the pause before the next stroke. It's intimate in a way that feels almost intrusive, like you're witnessing something deeply personal. And then you realize it's not just about painting, it's about focus, obsession, connection. The sounds don't just relax you, they pull you into the process. You're not watching anymore, you're experiencing it. Number 9, the beach, moonlight. The ocean has a rhythm that feels older than anything else. In this scene, that rhythm takes over completely. It starts with waves, rolling in, pulling back, repeating endlessly. But it's not just background noise. Each wave carries weight. You hear the crash, the foam, the retreat, like a breath being taken and released over and over again. And in the middle of it, a voice. Calm, steady, reassuring. Juan's words aren't rushed. They're spaced out, gentle, almost like he's matching the pace of the ocean itself. Let your head rest. Simple phrases, but delivered with a softness that makes them feel safe. The water moves around them, subtle splashes and shifts as the body adjusts. There's no panic, no chaos, just a slow learning process wrapped in sound. What makes this scene powerful is the contrast. The world this character comes from is loud, harsh, unpredictable. But here, everything is controlled. Everything is calm. The ocean becomes more than just sound, it becomes protection, a barrier between chaos and peace. And as the waves continue, something changes. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts quiet down. You start to feel what the character feels, weightless, supported, at ease. It's not just relaxing, it's grounding. Like for a brief moment, nothing else exists except the water, and the voice guiding you through it. 8. Cooking, the taste of things. There's something deeply satisfying about watching and hearing food being prepared with care. This scene leans fully into that feeling, turning cooking into an almost meditative experience. It begins with chopping, a knife hitting the board in a steady rhythm, tap, 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 clean, precise, consistent. Not rushed, not aggressive, just controlled repetition that instantly draws you in. Then comes the sizzle. Ingredients meeting heat, releasing that soft, continuous sound that feels alive. It's not loud, it's layered. You hear subtle variations as textures change, as flavors build. Water begins to boil, a low bubbling that gradually grows, adding depth to the soundscape. And somewhere in between, there are quieter details. The slide of a utensil, the soft placement of a dish, the gentle pour of liquid. What stands out is the absence of dialogue. There's no need for it. The sounds tell the story. Every action flows into the next seamlessly. There's no interruption, no sudden shifts. It's one continuous process, and that continuity is what makes it so calming. You start focusing on the details, the precision of movement, the timing, the care behind each step. It's not just cooking, it's craftsmanship. And that's where the ASMR element truly shines. Because it's not just about sound, it's about intention. Every chop, every stir, every sizzle feels purposeful. And as you watch, you don't just hear it, you feel it. A quiet, steady satisfaction building with every moment. Number 7, pottery scene, ghost. It starts with touch, and then sound follows. The pottery wheel spins slowly at first, creating a soft, continuous hum that feels almost hypnotic. It's steady, unchanging, a base layer that everything else builds on. Then comes the clay, wet, smooth, responsive. As hands press into it, you hear that subtle squelch, a soft, almost velvety sound that's oddly satisfying. It's not messy, it's controlled. The kind of texture you can practically feel through the screen. Water drips, light, irregular drops that add variation to the rhythm. And as the hands move, shaping the clay, the sounds shift, stretching, compressing, adjusting. But what elevates the scene is how everything syncs together. The wheel, the clay, the water, all moving in harmony. Nothing feels forced. It's fluid, continuous, almost like a dance. There's also a quiet intimacy here. Breathing, slight movements, the closeness between two people, all of it adds layers without overwhelming the senses. Number 6, the Nightwalker, Princess Mononoke. Nature in this scene doesn't just exist, it speaks. And every sound feels ancient, deliberate, almost sacred. It begins with silence, then small details emerge. Leaves rustling softly, distant wind moving through trees, subtle movements that feel alive rather than staged. Then you hear them, the kodama. The Nightwalker moves slowly, each step carrying weight. But instead of heavy thuds, you hear something unexpected, growth. Vegetation sprouting, shifting, fading with every step. It's a sound that's hard to define, yet instantly recognizable once you hear it. Wind rises, trees respond. The entire forest seems to react, creating a layered soundscape that feels alive in every direction. What makes this scene so powerful is its balance. There's beauty, but also unease. Calm, but also mystery. The sounds don't just relax you, they make you aware of space, of movement, of something much larger than yourself. It's ASMR, but on a different level. Not just soothing, but immersive. Like stepping into a world where every sound has meaning and every silence has weight. Number 5, haircuts, Edward Scissorhands. There's something instantly calming about repetition, and this scene leans fully into it. The moment Edward begins cutting hair, the sound becomes the star. The soft, metallic snip, snip, snip of his scissor-like fingers creates a steady rhythm that's oddly satisfying. It's fast, precise, yet never chaotic. You can hear the subtle shift of hair being trimmed, the light movement as strands fall away, and even the faint rustle as people adjust in their seats. Nothing is forced. It flows naturally, almost like a performance built on sound alone. What makes it even more fascinating is the reaction of those around him. There's a sense of calm, almost like they're surrendering to the process. The repetitive motion, combined with the crisp, clean cutting sounds, creates a soothing loop your brain easily locks into. It's simple, but deeply effective. A perfect example of how ordinary actions, when paired with the right sound, can become unexpectedly mesmerizing. Number 4, Tears in Rain, Blade Runner. Rain falls steadily, soft, constant, unbroken. It becomes the foundation of this entire moment. Each drop blends into the next, creating a quiet backdrop that feels almost meditative. And then comes the voice. Calm, slow, and filled with something you can't quite define. Roy Batty doesn't speak loudly. He doesn't need to. Every word lands gently, carried by the rhythm of the rain. There's a softness here that contrasts everything that came before. The tension fades, replaced by something reflective, almost peaceful. Even the faint flutter of the dove's wings at the end feels like part of the same emotional current. The sound design doesn't overwhelm, it supports. It gives space for the words to breathe, for the moment to settle. Number 3, dress fitting, phantom thread. This scene is all about precision, and you can hear it in every detail. Fabric moves with a soft glide, almost whispering as it shifts. Threads pull tight with a faint tension, and scissors cut cleanly through cloth with a satisfying crispness. There's no rush here. Every movement is measured, controlled, intentional. Even footsteps on the wooden floor add a subtle rhythm, grounding the entire moment. And then there's the voice, low, focused, almost absorbed in the process. It doesn't demand attention, yet it pulls you in effortlessly. Number 2, small pleasures, Amelie. This scene is built on tiny moments, but each one feels incredibly vivid. A hand dips into a sack of grain, and you hear the soft slide of seeds shifting, flowing around the fingers like water. It's gentle, textured, and instantly satisfying. Then comes the crack of crème brûlée. That sharp, delicate tap as the spoon breaks through the caramelized top. It's quick, but deeply satisfying. A perfect contrast to the softer sounds before it. Spaced-out pattern that fades naturally into the distance. Number 1, fixing Woody, Toy Story 2. Everything in this scene is designed to be felt through sound. The opening clicks of a toolbox, the gentle unfolding of tools. It immediately sets a tone of precision and care. Then the process begins. A cotton swab brushing against Woody's surface creates a soft, repetitive motion that feels incredibly soothing. The airbrush hums quietly as it restores color, adding a steady background layer. But the most satisfying moment comes with the stitching. The thread pulling through fabric, the slight tension, the final tightening of each stitch. It's rhythmic, controlled, and deeply calming. Every sound has purpose. Every action has weight. And as Woody is slowly restored, you don't just see the transformation, you hear it. And just like that, what started as simple sounds turned into something unforgettable. If you felt even a slight chill, a moment of calm, or that strange, satisfying tingle while listening to these, you're not alone. So tell me, which scene gave you that feeling the most? And if you want more moments like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, because trust me, we've only just scratched the surface.